Assalamu alaikum guys, if you're new here, my name is Junaid. I'm a teacher in Imam in New York City, and in this channel I try to talk about things I wish I knew when I was younger. So today I want to talk to you guys about Darool Uloom versus Madina University. I don't get this question on social media a lot because you guys don't know I studied in Darool Uloom for 7 years before studying in Madina for 5 years. So people who know me in real life, they ask me this question often. What was my experience? What's my take on it? What route should they take? So today inshallah I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each one. Let's talk about the pros about Darool Uloom. So the first thing that comes to mind is that the classes are smaller. The environment is almost like a family type of environment. You know the teachers very well. The teachers know you very well. You know your classmates very well as well. Maybe the teachers even know your family history, where you come from, who your father is, and etc. So that kinds of builds a stronger student to teacher relationship. And another benefit of that is that because there are less students in the class, the teacher is able to check all of your work, your exams. They can scrutinize and go into detail and give you a better assessment of your work. Now, that's not really the case in Madina University because the classrooms are really big. In Sharia, you have about 100 to 150 students a class. In Da'wah, similar cases. In Quran, we don't have that problem. Max students is like 30 to 40. But this is what I hear about other faculties. And one obvious problem is that the teacher doesn't have the time to check all of your exams and all of the tests as best as possible as compared to Darool Uloom. Alright, the second pro about Darool Uloom is that in the last year you do what is called Dawratul Hadith. You go over all of the Sihah Sitta and all of the Hadith. You read them at least barakatan. So what happens in the end is that you end up getting a sanad or ijaza, a chain of narration all the way back to the Prophet ﷺ. Now that's not the case in Madina University because we don't do all of the Sihah Sitta. We do them but not the complete book. We do certain sections of them. And now that doesn't mean that you can't go to Masjid al-Nabawi or sit with a scholar in their private classes in their homes or in their local masjid and get it. But we're talking about the curriculum itself. So in Medina you don't get that, but in Darool Uloom you get that. So that's definitely a pro for Darool Uloom. The next thing I like about Darool Uloom is the way they teach Nahu and Sarf. They give a lot of time and focus and effort in Nahu and Sarf, which are the foundation of this knowledge. For the first year or two, even until the third year, they do and repeat Nahu and Sarf. Especially the way they do Sarf. The way we did it is that my teacher, Hafidhahullah, may Allah protect him, he used to make us stand up each and every single person, and we used to do the girdan, or the conjugations of every single verb, like and he used to ask us to do a backward, forward, the sigha, the description, the wahid, the tathniya, the jama'. And I really liked the way we did the sarf and nahu in Darool Uloom. And in Madina University, it's not really like that. I did the ma'had for 1 semester, so I don't know the whole curriculum, but I do know that they're both joined in one book. The one book they have for Lugha. In there you have your Nahu and Sarf, and we don't do like conjugations like how they do in Darool Uloom. So that's definitely another pro for Darool Uloom. The next pro thing about Darool Uloom is there's high supervision. All the teachers know you, your history, how many times you got in trouble, what you got in trouble for, the length of your beard, how you cut your hair, what you wear, is it according to Sunnah or not. I remember in my time, there was a teacher who used to stand in the back for Fajr Salah, and he used to write down the people's name, whoever used to come late or whoever used to miss a rak'ah or not. So that's definitely something good. Maybe some may not like it, but I think it's good in the long run. You build habits to do good stuff. And you're held accountable for everything you do. So it might make you more studious, more hardworking, that whatever I do, I'm going to be held accountable for it. In Madina University, that's not the case. You have all your freedom. You can wear whatever you like, obviously nothing too crazy, but as long as it's humble clothing, you can wear it. They don't check the length of your beard. They don't ask you what you do in your private time. They don't check your phone or if you have a phone or whatnot. So it's a double-edged sword, I would say. Freedom, you can use it for your own advantage, but if you're reckless and you don't know what you're doing, then your free time can take you to places where you wish you wouldn't be at. Alright, so now let's talk about the pros about Madina University. The first and the most obvious one is that you live in the city of the Prophet ﷺ, and who doesn't want to live there? If right now we wanted to go and visit the city of the Prophet ﷺ, we don't have to spend thousands of dollars. But when you're a student there, that's not the case. You just got to pay 2 riyal taxi and you're there. Also, you can do Umrah every other week or every week, whenever you want, whenever you desire. So that's definitely the biggest pro about being a student at Madina University. All right, the next pro about Madina University is that you're in an Arabic speaking environment. So yes, you might have known Arabic from before, learned Arabic, how to read, and you might understand what the scholars are saying in Arabic. But to speak and that conversational skill, you don't get until you're surrounded by people who speak that language. So that's definitely a pro about being a student at Madina University and in Saudi Arabia. You get to improve and hone your speaking skills, which is very, very necessary, because a lot of times we have people graduating from Islamic institutions, but they don't know how to speak Arabic. It's not the end of the world, because all you need is how to read, understand books, right? But it's definitely a valuable skill to have if you know how to speak Arabic. The next pro thing about Madina University is that right before you start your kulliyah, you have to ask yourself, what field do I want to specialize in? What do I see myself doing in 5 years? What trajectory do I have in my mind for myself? So if you like fiqh, you would go to Sharia. If you like hadith, you go to hadith. If you like Quran, you go to Quran. But in Darool Uloom, you don't even really get to ask that question. The whole course is everything given to you, and whatever you like, you do. Yes, later on, you can specialize, but I think from the beginning, a student should ask himself and know what he wants to get in, because obviously you cannot be a master of all trades, right? You have to focus on one. You have to know something about everything and everything about something. You have to know something about everything and everything about something. The next pro thing about Madina University is that the degree you get is recognized worldwide. At least in America is recognized. I'm pretty sure it's going to be recognized everywhere else as well. The degree, after I evaluated my degree, I got 172 credits. And in America, you only need 120 credits to get a bachelor's. So that's definitely a pro, because you can take that degree, you can study in universities, you can study different fields, you can do psychology, you can do mental health, you can even get into law. So that's definitely a pro, because in Darool Uloom, the degree you get, yes, it's good and it's valuable. You get a sanad, you get your experience, your learning, and you get your ilm, but you just can't really do anything with it. You have to start from scratch all over again if you go to university after that. All right, the last pro of Madina University, and this one is not so important, but I think it does play a role to a certain extent, and that is that it's funded by the government, by the kingdom. So they have a lot of resources and money to invest in the students, the teachers, the tools, the instruments, and everything they give to you. It just is the state of the art, and it kind of motivates you. And I don't mean anything bad about Darool Uloom. It's just that in Darool Uloom, it's underfunded no matter where you go, because it's funded by the people. So sometimes, the place you sleep at, it's not really comfortable. So I know like some students who come from a rich background, or I don't know what to say, a poshy background, they don't last. And even if they're there, they just hate the experience that they've been through for all this 5, 6, 7 years. Now, again, I'm telling you that this is not a big deal. It's just to some people it might make a difference. For me, it didn't make any difference, and a lot of my friends, it didn't make a difference to them. But some people it did bother them a lot, and they did struggle, and I saw them struggle. Maybe the bathroom was a problem, or the place they slept at, and all of that thing. But again, I said this is not that important, so don't go that hard. So that's it. These are the pros and cons about Madina University and Darool Uloom. Now, which route should you take? And this is probably the most important question, and this is my honest opinion. I don't impose this on anyone. So here it is. If you are already studying in a Darool Uloom and you've already invested some time in it, then I say that don't just leave it in the middle. Finish it, and then you can go. Right? Now, if you haven't started at all and you know that you want to study in Madina University, then don't waste your time in Darool Uloom. And why I say that is because let's say you study for 2-3 years and then you go to Madina University, you can't really do with those 2-3 years, meaning like you don't have a degree or a certificate that you can take somewhere else and you can build on that unless you finish the 6 years. So if you know you're going to go to Madina University, then part-time you should study with scholars and teachers and ulama. Even go to Darool Uloom and ask the teachers that, Sheikh, can I please, Mulana, can I please study this book with you? And that's good, because you don't end up wasting your time on something that you can't really do with it. Or you're gonna learn that stuff in Madina University anyway. So this is only if you know for sure you're gonna go to Madina University. Then just study part-time with the scholars, inshallah. So that's it. I hope I was fair. I tried to be as fair as possible. These are some of the things I wish I knew before I started the journey of knowledge. I hope you found them beneficial and you're able to relate to them, inshallah ta'ala. So that's about it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, write in the comment section what you didn't like. I love your feedback. And of course, if you're not subscribed already and you made it all the way here, then smash that subscribe button so we don't lose touch, inshallah ta'ala. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.